Okay, this is the next step, or what I'm calling part 2 of diaphragmatic breathing. The first thing I want you guys to do is lay in a sit-up position. Get your feet anchored under a couch, a chair, a table, a bed, something that can sustain your weight. We're going to do a sit-up in a minute. Before we do that, I want to explain a few things. The first thing is, this is one of the best exercises you can do to approximate the amount of strength required to take a correct diaphragmatic or abdominal breath. Now, I'm going to explain some things along the way, and I want you to literally enter into everything I'm about to say. Now, because my spine is flush or straight to the base of the ground, my ribs stay in quite an expanded state. Now, we talked about rib cage expansion. This actually takes it yet to another level. So I'm not taking a breath from my lungs like this. I feel the breath from my stomach, from my abdomen like this. Do you feel that sensation? It's not the same breath as when we're taking a breath standing up, where we go and the lungs tank up with air. It's not like that. The lungs are already, and the ribs are already expanded, or I say split or split open. They're expanded like this in a rib cage expanded state. So they're expanded. So my abdominal cavity does my breathing for me. Let's practice this a few times. Just breathe in, breathe out. See my lungs? They're not moving. My belly's moving. Breathe out. Now, we're going to do a simple series of sit-ups. So your feet have to be anchored to something that can sustain your weight. I'm anchored on this side. You can't see, but I have my feet anchored to something. And we're going to do a simple sit-up. Now, this is really, really cool. If you listen to me, this will really help you when you go to stand up. So we're going to do a triad. We're going to go la. And ladies, you'll do this up the octave, okay? And when I'm on the ground is my first note, my la. And as I go to do my sit-up, if this is my body, it's going to go la. Kind of like a clock doing, the arms of a clock. Let's do it again. La. So the bottom, the first note is going to be the beginning of the triad. And as I move up, and I'm going to do this smoothly. I'm not going to go la and try to do it quickly. I want fluid motion. So very legato. La. And then the end of the triad, or the end of the scale, will be the end of the sit-up. This is important. I'll explain why in a minute. So I'm going to put my arms to my side. I'm not going to put my hands behind my head like this or anything like that. Now, another very important thing is we're going to do a few of these, a couple, 3, 4. I'm not looking to wipe out your abdomen. But when most people do sit-ups, they do them crunches, they're called. They go, la, and they keep the abdominal cavity in a very contracted or a tense state. Well, our goal is after every time we do this, we're going to go into a relaxed state, the opposite of doing crunches, where the abdominal cavity stays super tense and is all completely bound up. We're not going to do that. We're going to concentrate on a relaxation response. So here we go. We're going to take our breath. Again, our lungs are expanded. Simon Says, remember the Simon Says thing. Okay, we take our breath first. Here's our breath. Allah. Right? Now you're going to feel the whole intensity of how much strength is required in the abdominal cavity to take a correct breath. Now guys, if you opt out of doing this and you decide not to really pursue this, you're going to find that you can't support or sustain a lot of the notes and a lot of the things and the building blocks of some of the things I'm about to show you. If you're willing to take the time to slow down and do this correctly, then you're going to build up the correct support mechanism and building blocks for great abdominal strength and diaphragmatic support. Next triad, Allah. Now you can hear I kind of like you kind of hear me, it's like I'm not Superman. I still have to work at this, but I want you to get the feeling of what's the amount of strength that's required to create this breath, okay? Let's do one more. Here we go. Remember, lungs are already expanded. I relaxed in between the breath. The relaxation is done. I'm taking my breath again. Allah. Now, if I were to do these kind of quickly, it would be something like this. Starting with the first note again. Allah. 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 And you can continue to go up the scale. Now, one of the things that are important about this is a lot of people, when they go to do a scale and they go, Allah, and they think of the high note, what happens is they go, high note's over, I no longer have to support, I can relax, I'm done, it's all good. That's not correct. And what this exercise does is you have to stay in the breath. Once you're at the top of the scale, you have to stay in the breath. And then you have to use that same abdominal strength to bring you down for what I call the landing. So it's like a parachute. You're coming down for the landing, but you have to stay in the breath. If you don't, if you're going through the passages, segundo passaggio, the second passageway from your head voice to your chest voice, and we're working these crazy exercises, which you're going to get into in volume 2 and 3 and the pro packs, is I come down for the landing. If I don't have abdominal strength, I'm going to crack. My voice is going to crack, or I'm going to crash somewhere down, or I'm going to go flat, or something's going to happen that's not going to be consistent. So we're going to do this standing up now, and we're going to do a couple scales utilizing this breath, and I'm going to call that diaphragmatic support part 3. Here we go.